Dave Meltzer opened his mouth about Andrade a little bit, and we're going to circle back to that because that's like the big, Andrade made a shock debut back in AEW. We're all curious, what does Dave Meltzer have to say about that? But Dave Meltzer also opened his mouth about a Latin American superstar and then had a little bit of a meltdown about it, a little Dave Melty, a Meltsy Seltzy. And, Bad Bunny got announced as the Super Bowl halftime show, WWE superstar Bad Bunny. And I don't know, man. Some people are upset by it. Some people have pointed out that since Jay-Z has taken over the like Rock Nation, I guess, books it. I didn't even know that. So they booked the Super Bowl halftime show, and I guess it's been all like hip hop artists or something since they've I think Kendrick did it, right? And then Weekend, I don't think he's a rapper though, right? So it's just Cuervo, Brian, right? So to me, I don't listen to boomer takes like that. To me, I made the argument like, listen, man, and maybe this sounds kind of boomer, but like, okay, Kiss might not be around in 5 years. Why don't we give them one? They haven't done one. There's some people like in 5 years, Bad Bunny could do a Super Bowl halftime show. It's all good. Some people saying like, some people are just triggered by it for whatever reason. And then they just talk about Bad Bunny like he's not a world famous guy. He really is. And to American audiences, they might not be singing all of his songs, but he's in movies with like Brad Pitt, and he was just in Sandler's newest flick. I know that movie, people say it sucked ass, but it was one of like the most watched on Netflix. So for whatever that's worth, like, people know who he is, and people know a couple of the songs, right? Like Chembe, yeah, that hit so hard at Backlash. Booker T's one of them, but maybe that's just the wrestling marks. I'm sure he has other hits. They're not radio hits in America or in let's say. I'm sure they are in America, though. Lots of people speak Spanish in America. You know what I mean? In Canada, maybe not so much, right? We speak en français, non anglais, right? But I mean, the Super Bowl, someone pointed out, is in San Francisco, right up my neck of the woods, Brian. I'm sure I'll be there. But Will Ospreay, if the Jacksonville Jaguars are there, Brian, I'll have front row seats. But when it comes to like Dave Meltzer, he tried to diminish Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny was trending, okay, because he's doing the Super Bowl halftime show. My whole thing is this, though. Shut up, Bad Bunny. I'm going to love that. It's going to be awesome, and he's going to crush it, I'm sure. I'm a big fan. As far as like his wrestling, he's a good actor. A few of his songs, I don't know all of his songs. I'm not going to lie, right? I don't sit here and bump Bad Bunny all the time. But Dave buried Bad Bunny in the past. And when he came to WWE, of course. And so this is like resurfaced and people started roasting Dave again. So let's just follow this here, okay? Jason G from the SAT says, why did Dave delete this? Okay, and Jason G, this was, I think I don't know if he responded to it now or... I remember years ago, Dave tried. Meltzer said, what pulls this card from 2021? That's all I know. We'll get to it. But basically what happened was Jason G said, bro, Dave Meltzer said that most people don't know who Bad Bunny is. Holy bro is never beating the allegations. Okay? So he's sitting here saying that most people don't know who Bad Bunny.
Poor people don't like AEW.
Most people. That's a crazy, like, yeah, most people don't, like, I guess if we're talking about the 8 or 9 billion people on Earth, yeah, Dave, maybe technically you're right, but what are you talking about? And it's crazy, too, because Bad Bunny's a global superstar, and they're trying to make football global, and they have, like, a Latin American football league, I believe, as well. And they want to take all the European fans of soccer and hopefully convert them to NFL fans and stuff, right? Like, I feel like that's been an initiative for a while in the NFL. So I don't know what this asshole's talking about here. But Dave Meltzer says, you know how many years ago this was? So again, people were like bringing it up, dude. Okay, I thought Dave repeated this in 2025. He did not. They just were pulling and bringing up when he said this in 2021. We're about to own Dave, though, because when he said this in 2021, it was just as egregious. And he got clowned just as hard because he's just as big of a dumbass for saying it then as him defending it now and then deleting this. He deleted this post. Shout out Jason G for screen grabbing this. So Dave says, you know how many years ago this was in the context? It was Garrett Gonzalez, who was Mexican. Okay. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? And also, where is Bad Bunny from? He's not Mexican, bro. So Dave does this thing like he's Puerto Rican. Oh, yeah, of course, right? Chambea backlash, right? Duh, dummy. He's Puerto Rican. He did the same thing where he's like, oh, Lola Vice isn't Mexican. How dare she wrestle at AAA? He's just such an ignorant. I'm not a virtue signaler, but Dave is oddly misogynistic and he's oddly racialist, you know? But he goes, it was Garrett Gonzalez, who is Mexican, asking me if my son, then in high school in a heavy Mexican American area. Cuervo. We were doing shots of Cuervo, Brian. Oh my God, this guy's lost touch with reality. It was Garrett Gonzalez. This is like the equivalent of, well, I have a black friend. It was Garrett Gonzalez, who is Mexican, asking me if my son, pretty much a Mexican, goes to school with Mexicans, Brian, in a heavy Mexican American area. And his friends knew who Bad Bunny was. By coincidence, I had been out to dinner with many of his friends a week or two earlier and asked if they knew Jake Paul or Bad Bunny. Dave, you're lying. You never, by coincidence. Nope. Liar! Nope. That did not happen. You're lying. And you didn't ask them if they know by coincidence who Jake Paul and Bad Bunny were. They all knew Jake Paul and said everyone hated him and none knew Bad Bunny. That's all. It was recounting a story. Yeah, because you are like out of touch fucking rich white dudes, man. I don't expect you to know about Bad Bunny or whatever. And his song Booker T. You know, like I don't expect, like, what are you talking about? Dave is in such a fucking echo chamber bubble, and he always does this thing. Like he just buried his son and his son's Mexican friends there, or whatever he's trying to say. He just buried them. He just threw, my girlfriend said that the luchas were so cool. Like he just throws people under the bus. It's ridiculous. And so Meltzer said, what? Post this from 2021. I would love to know the sample size of Dave's poll to determine whether Bad Bunny is beloved or hated by an entire population of people. Let's see. He talked to Garrett and Brian. Both have Mexican, maybe LAX or Sammy, Mike Tenay and Excalibur. They know Excalibur. And so Dave said this on his message board in 2021. There is no evidence of this, but that's the most obvious point that will go ignored in Garrett, who is half Mexican, asking me if he's had an effect on ratings and me explaining. So this is talking about Bad Bunny. So because Garrett's Mexican and fucking Bad Bunny's Puerto Rican, somehow Garrett is the expert on the effects on ratings because what? Him and his abuela are fucking him and his hermano Dave are eating fucking tacos. And what are you fucking like? Come on, man. Are eating tacos and having a siesta, watching together. Oh, that Bad Bunny's on. It's a fucking Viva la Raza. Like, fuck, Dave. You're such an ignorant motherfucker. So, who was half Mexican, asking me, ask his Irish side what he thought about the ratings when fucking Sheamus popped up, you asshole. Asking me if he's had an effect on ratings and me explaining it in detail and thus being racialist to clowns who didn't listen to a word of it. Anyway, well, holy shit. Yeah, Dave, it's because what you're saying is ignorant. Ask a Puerto Rican. And even then, who gives a fuck? Don't ask anyone because you're all morons. Okay? Just look at the fucking data and report on that. Stop fucking trying to play these games. Anyways, Dave goes, anyway, well, he is a huge star. The point that this is not a transcendent Cyndi Lauper angle thus far. Yeah, Dave, because he's not a dinosaur? Because he didn't come out in 1964 when you were 25 years old? You son of a bitch.
Sometimes in life, you got to be a hoe.
Certainly appears to be the case right now. Perhaps history will say differently and ratings will start shooting through the roof next week. Dave, you don't get it. Like, if you listen to music, you're not just going to watch pro wrestling because the guy who sings music that you like is on the fucking pro wrestling show. Just like if you like pro wrestling, you're not going to go listen to this guy's music. Let's say you don't like hip hop music and they use a Cardi B song. You're not going to like go out and buy Cardi B's fucking album or whatever. You know, he just, again, he just lives in, he doesn't quite grasp. There's like a connection issue there where Dave just like throws shit out there. You know, he thinks that you could compare like a bucket of paint to an orange or whatever when it comes to fucking their functionality and shit. Like there's just a lack of, there's like a disconnect there with reality. And then this guy, Andre, says, Bad Bunny was the most streamed artist in the world when Dave said that. And Meltzer said, what? Says, that's a bingo. Bad Bunny was the most streamed Spotify artist in the world in 2020 before Dave's comment in 2021. So the year before Dave said this, okay? And Dave's such a dumb fuck. He doesn't even know that, like, he doesn't even know what Spotify is. He doesn't even know his podcast's probably on Spotify. He doesn't even know. Okay? And Bad Bunny was the most streamed. The Puerto Rican rapper. Oh, those rappers. I mean, you can have 20 of those guys there, Brian. And it's like, I'm uncomfortable. So again, Mexican people know about Puerto Rican Bad Bunny. And then he calls people clowns. He has the audacity to be like, you're clowns if you call me racialist for saying that. So 2020's most streamed Spotify artist versus Dinosaur Dave's 2021 comments about Bad Bunny. Maybe you should learn and study beyond just asking your kid and half Mexican co-hosts who know nothing about pop culture or hip hop or fucking Puerto Rico or fucking anything or pro wrestling. Jesus Christ, man. So moving along here. You know, Meltzer said, what post this? They really had the gall to print this in today's Observer daily report about Bad Bunny, as if Dave wasn't labeling him an ethnic celebrity a few years ago, as to why the audience wouldn't recognize or care about him in WWE. So Dave says Bad Bunny was announced as one of the halftime stars at the Super Bowl this year. Yeah, my whole thing with that is, and I know I said this before, but let me just reiterate it, man. Get people that we might not be able to get in the next like 5 years, you know, give them their, like, I think Kiss should do a super. I keep saying that because they have hits, man. Who has hits? Like, none of these people got hits anymore. You know, none of these people are, you know, you'd have to combine 3 of these new singer girls to equal like one Lady Gaga or Madonna as far as like pop culture level of like influencing pop culture and shit. Like Sabrina Carpenter, I couldn't even tell you one song. You just hear her name. Like, what has she done? You know, honest to God. And, you know, she's selling out everywhere. That's great. I'm not diminishing that. I'm sure she's a great singer, great talent, all that shit. But is she, like, going to have a name like Madonna? No. Okay? It's just a come and go. Like, there was that other, Olivia Rodrigo is one of them. It's just like, you're not fucking, yeah, you're selling out buildings. People love your music and shit. I'm not diminishing. It's not for me. I totally get that. But it's like, who are the superstars now? You know, like Beyonce and shit. It just seems like we don't have people at that fucking level. Everything's becoming more niched off. Everything's like a niche of a niche now, in a way. And some are just bigger than others. You know what I mean? But with that being said, if they're like Sabrina Carpenter's doing the halftime show, I'm not going to be like, oh, this is fucking stupid. My take would just be like, well, who are like the icons that haven't done it yet that should, who had hits, man, like that we can all name, every classics, generational songs. You know what I mean? I want to see some of them just get it in before we're unable to. You know, John Cena's last, maybe I'm just in my fifis because we got John Cena's last match coming up. AJ's going to retire. You know what I mean? Like, we got all these wrestlers taking off. Maybe I just keep the same energy towards the Super Bowl personally. And I like Bad Bunny. But yeah, for people like freaking out like Dave, and I'll ask Mexican folk if they love him. Oh, there'll be a lot of Mexicans there, Brian. Like, it just don't even comment on it, you know? But anyways. He says, this news brought about some of the worst dregs of society commenting negatively about a foreigner. Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory being allowed to perform at the Super Bowl. Dave, You were the one, literally, we just covered it, saying you had to ask your Mexican friends and your son who went to a Mexican school. Meanwhile, this guy's fucking Puerto Rican. And you were essentially saying nobody knows who he is. He's just like an ethnic. How did Meltzer say what? Said what? Worded an ethnic celebrity. Yeah. So again, there it is right there. What do you, here's Squared Circle. What do you agree with Dave Meltzer's view that Bad Bunny is an ethnic celebrity and most people don't know who he is? That's what Dave.
The Bad Bunny reactions.
Here's the fucking clip. This is from, I think, March 30th. Let's take a listen. This is from probably 2021 as well.
Going to be interesting too, because like he's a celebrity, but he's a celebrity. He's a, you know, I mean, he's a celebrity to an audience and a giant celebrity to that audience, but most people don't know who he is, or they, you know, some people might have seen him on the Grammys or whatever, but it's a different, he's an ethnic celebrity. He's a giant ethnic celebrity.
There you go. And now Dave's saying the worst dregs of society are being racialist towards Bad Bunny and shit. Yeah, buddy, that's pretty much what you did when it came to burying him when he joined WWE. Oh, he's only over in Puerto Rico, to the Mexicans there in Puerto Rico.
Celebrity, but a lot of people at WrestleMania are not of that ethnicity. So,
what the fuck does that even mean? A lot of people who watch WWE, they're not Mexican, Brian. They're not of that ethnicity. Dave, what are you talking about, man? He's lost his goddamn mind. This was so long ago, too.
You know, it's not like, I don't know. It's not like, you know, a celebrity that is a big celebrity, but everyone in the culture knows.
Everyone in the culture. What does that even mean? See, this is why these dumb fucks go on Twitter and go, WWE's a mega company and shit, because Dave has spent so much time like just like putting people in a box. WWE is the most diverse company with the most diverse athletes, with the most diverse range of wrestling and superstars on the roster, and the fan base is the same thing. All ages, all shapes and sizes, all colors and creeds. And he pretends, oh, I mean, those white trash, poor, low IQ, dumb fuck hillbillies who listen to Kid Rock, Brian. I mean, what do they know?
It's a completely different situation. Well, the Bad Bunny reaction.
Then they go to Puerto Rico and the whole fucking one of the greatest entrances of all time. Chambea, fucking building shaking. Oh, look at all that white trash, Brian. The worst dregs of society. And then fast forward 4 years, the worst dregs of society. I mean, my son went to a mostly Mexican school. I'm cultured. Fuck, dude. Dynamite. And on a week where Dave can't tell the difference between a Puerto Rican and a Mexican, and he's flipping out about Bad Bunny, and now he's talking about, what is it here? Hispanic wrestlers. So he's got a hot take. This fucking boomer's got a hot take on Hispanic wrestlers. And I'm going to give Dave Meltzer a little credit here. Okay. I know.
We have confirmed that Dave Meltzer fears PWT and flutes.
Okay. But I'll give Dave this. I know that that's true. He fears flutes, but I'll give Dave this. He buried Andrade before when he was in AEW, and he is burying Andrade again. Okay? Now, I like Andrade. You guys know that. I was shocked when he left WWE. Well, I wasn't shocked he got released, I'm going to be honest, but I was shocked that like he just was disgruntled there as well. I thought he'd be happy, but then when he divorced Charlotte, it's like, well, he wanted to go there because his wife was there and he was angry in AEW. And people have pointed out it seems like he might be the problem as far as like his backstage antics and shit. Okay, sure. This is all I'm saying, man. I'm a fan of his work. You know, he is a really good wrestler. He had some solid matches. Like if you're just, again, looking at the moves and the matches and shit, his storylines, I mean, even in NXT Gold, they weren't the strongest. He was just having bangers in an era where it was like, I can't wait for TakeOver. You know, these takeovers are fucking insane, you know? So Andrade has come a long way, but Dave chalked him up and lumped him into a group of one of these guys like Rusev, Aleister Black, Andrade. They just like want to go to AEW until the deal's up, then go back to WWE, you know? And Dave doesn't really like that Andrade is in AEW again. And I can't imagine this will bode well backstage. I mean, if you guys remember, Hurt Syndicate showed up in AEW and Dave buried them as well. And look, we've heard about like, oh, they won't put people over, and we've heard bullshit drama. So is there going to be more bullshit drama? I know Andrade, I think he had problems with Sammy Guevara. Well, Sammy Guevara's been banished to ROH because of Mercedes Moné. I think Andrade might have had problems with like Eddie Kingston once as well, didn't he? I'm not sure, but Andrade will like fucking smack you, okay? Like, that's the thing. He's not gonna take shit from people, okay? I don't know what people expect from this guy. And he's not there to fuck around, right? And he'll do work. I mean, we saw him in that Hardy faction bullshit. Like he'll fucking do his job, but like he will also take off when he wants to. A couple of months. Maybe he realized like, the AEW schedule is actually better. I'm divorced from my wife and I don't even need to be here. You know, maybe that just dawned on. Who fucking knows? But I'll give Dave credit for, if he had problems with Eddie Kingston, though, Eddie Kingston, I mean, the sheet's already shat on him and they'll just stick him on the Collision or whatever. They just won't be booked on the same night. But either way, I digress. Here's Dave's take on Andrade being back in AEW. Shock and surprise.
Andrade.
And by the way, just an update, like for those of you who maybe weren't online or didn't see what the dirt sheets have been saying, like, when Andrade was technically released, they just like terminated the contract and cut him, although he did essentially walk out on his own accord. But on the books, on paper, he was released, and that's why this isn't like contract tampering or interference or anything like that.
Andrade made his return.
AEW has enough talent. They don't need. I see everyone like celebrating. Oh my God, this is so great when all this.
Dave is like, I've seen everybody online saying, I don't think anyone was saying that. Oh my God,
it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
I don't think anyone was saying that, Dave. I think everyone was hating on it for the most part and laughing at how silly it is. Like maybe some AEW fans were excited, but there's people you can see in the crowd like explaining to each other who the fuck this is.
Andrade is a very good wrestler. He is, he's coming off of a run that wasn't good in WWE. Then he was fired, over disciplinary reasons. He had lots of problems in AEW over disciplinary reasons. I always think, burn me once, learn a lesson. This was not a lesson learned. And I know that my view is very unpopular in this because all I've seen is, oh, it's so great.
No, see, Dave, just fucking, man, because you are surrounded by sickos in a cult. So the one time you agree with Phil Marks, now I can't even, I mean, I did play you an E-flute. That should be good, but it's like, we can't even bro down Dave. This would be like a Dave Meltzer smart moment of the week show if you just kept it real, and he doesn't like Andrade because he knows that Andrade coming in means like, oh, fuck, Mystico's not going to get booked as much or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? Even though I don't know if that's the case. Like, Tony's not above shelving people, and we don't know what CMLL has planned, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I will say this. It's funny how he hates on a certain, like, Dave picks out these guys he hates on, and he's like, oh, there's tons of disciplinary issues. I think Andrade, like, smacked someone or was going to smack them. Is that a ton of disciplinary issues, Dave? Or are you just, like, over-exaggerating and shit? And that's where, like, he gets heat with some of the boys, and he gets heat with fucking fans, too, who are like, well, dude, don't go, like, okay, you don't like Andrade. Don't go burying him in that regard. But, I mean, it is obvious. I agree with you, like, I agree with Dave in this aspect. Like, Tony shouldn't have fucking rehired him, but he's just desperate. And I bet it was easy. I bet they were like, just same deal, whatever. But Tony's just super desperate to pop a rating or do anything. And I don't think it'll help.
Andrade's back and blah, blah, blah. And who cares about his problems? And it's like, one of the biggest problems with this company has been the usage of WWE guys, but the guys who were fired, you had William Regal, not a success, went back as soon as possible. This is the problem.
Why are they not a success? Why is anybody not a success in AEW? It's because the platform they provide.
The best guy is Tony Khan.
Right? However, to steal a line from Meltzer, how do you measure success? Because Dave's going, well, he wasn't a success. Okay, why? Because AEW hasn't been successful. Well, no, they've been successful. Okay, well then you and your sycophants are talking about Moxley should be a Hall of Famer. Regal was working with Moxley and shit. So what did he do that wasn't successful if AEW was successful while he was in it, according to you chucklefucks? So why Dave's just talking shit, and he doesn't like Regal because he loved Regal when Regal came in, but Regal thinks Meltzer's a stooge and then asked to get released, and Tony Khan took it personally and cried and texted Dave about it. So Dave got fucking emotional damage over it, and now he's coping, okay?
Emotional damage!
William Regal wanted to go be with his son. He had to get out of there. Him and Triple H are loyal to each other through and through to the bone. And once Triple H came in charge, which nobody really saw coming, he's like, I need to get the fuck back there because this place is a joke. The part that Dave won't admit is this place is AEW's a fucking joke. And all of these guys jumped the fuck off of this thing. And Tony shouldn't have went balls deep in signing every ex-WWE star. And the problem is that Dave was hyping up, Danielson and Adam Cole, baby, and all the ex-WWE guys. They got Moxley. They got Jericho. They're going to be more popular than WWE. Dave pushed that narrative and that agenda. He hyped up a bunch of these guys for being ex-WWE guys. But then the ones he doesn't like, he singles out and goes, this guy, he's friends with Triple H, so fuck him. That's all Dave's doing, man. It's so disingenuous.
Fired. Get William Regal, not a success. Went back as soon as he could. Malachi Black.
As soon as he could. He had to ask for his release.
Didn't do jobs, left.
Didn't do jobs. Holy shit. Oh my God, dude. Didn't do jobs. Wouldn't job for anyone. Multi-time trios champion. They didn't do jobs.
Rusev. It's like this guy wouldn't do anything in AEW, and then he goes to WWE and he's putting over Dominic,
Yeah, because Dominic's over, bro. He's the Intercontinental Champion. Millions of people are watching #1 on Netflix. Not Invisible Max numbers. It actually is building to something. He's not just in WWE. It's not just, hey, you can turn everything down either. He's on a short deal. Maybe he's trying to fucking show them, yes, I'm here to work. And on top of that, it's like, yeah, because Dom's one of the most over guys in the entire business right now. He didn't want to go put over Daniel Garcia, who can't get a reaction. So you just keep sticking him in different factions that nobody cares about.
He wouldn't put over guys twice as good as Dominic in AEW.
Twice as good as Dominic. No, there's nobody in AEW as good as Dominic Mysterio is at the all-around game of pro wrestling. All around. Mass appeal. Drawing houses. Are you talking about doing flips and shit? Okay. All right. Yeah, he wouldn't put over Pac, who does flips and shit. You know what I mean? He actually probably would put Pac over. It wouldn't shock me if he has in NXT. You know what I mean? Like, Dave, this is such cope. And you're just burying this guy for no fucking reason.
You are coping and seething. You just can't accept what you're seeing. Yes, you're coping and seething. The truth it is scalding, and now you are molding and coping so hard. Coping and seething.
EW.
Actually, Swerve was released and became a big star. Huge star.
Huge star. A big star. A huge star, actually. See, Brian's starting to become Dave. He's actually a huge star.
Are you sure about that?
Swerve is the exception. That's right. That is the one exception.
And what about Tony Storm? Oh, that's another exception. Fucking idiots, man. And they're not huge stars. They just raised their stock. Swerve and Tony Storm raised their stock since going to AEW. But huge star. Come on.
Not super charismatic. And one of the things that's different.
He's not super charismatic. Super charismatic, bro. Andrade, what he has going for him is his charisma. There's a certain je ne sais quoi to him, to where the English doesn't matter so much with him, and especially if you stick him with a good mouthpiece. Holy shit, that's the thing about him. He has a good look. That's why they took the mask off him. Fucking crazy. Dave's nuts, man.
Before, one of the advantages that Andrade had is that, I think that AEW really wanted good Hispanic wrestlers. He's very good. They have access to much better guys now than Andrade.
Oh my God. Fucking Dave. So here is Dave and Brian speaking about Wrestle Dream, and then talking about Showdown and Title Tuesday, which are going head to head on October the 7th, coming up here next week, which I am so excited for. So here's Dave Meltzer glazing Wrestle Dream before it even happens.
Kenny Omega comes back. He was put out by Kyle Fletcher. Okay. So the first thing he should be doing is going after Kyle Fletcher. Okay. That is like the most obvious thing. And this is another thing that they don't do well, is they'll shoot an angle for a guy to leave.
Damn, Dave is criticizing AEW. Let's go. People will be like, he does this all the time. No, dude, he just doesn't like Andrade. Okay, so I'll give him a new fuck it. But he just doesn't like Andrade. That's all it is. He just wants to see his new I'm going to explain it to the sickos. Dave's new 5-star merchant is Kyle Fletcher. And Kenny Omega is one of his past ones. He just doesn't like Andrade. We just listened to Andrade get buried by Dave and Rusev for some reason. And so he doesn't want Kenny to fight Andrade, even though Dave is like, well, he's a tremendous wrestler. Okay, then they'll have a tremendous match. I thought this is where the best wrestle. But he wants him to fight Kyle Fletcher because he's impatient, he's a child, and because that's his new 5-star merchant. You know what I mean? He just can't wait to be like, 7 stars.
For various reasons, he's got to leave. They'll shoot an angle. And then
he doesn't actually care. He's not actually criticizing Tony Khan. He's only saying this because he's trying. Well, he is by proxy, but he really just hates Andrade.
You've got this ready-made grudge match return, and how many times have we seen it? And then they just never do the match.
Because he doesn't want to beat anybody. If you do Kyle Fletcher and Kenny Omega, you got to beat one of them.
Exactly. See, thank you, Brian. See, Brian tries sometimes.
So
he's still trying a little bit. It seeps through.
He doesn't want to beat either of them, and so they are not feuding.
Well, then why did he do the angle?
Because he had to get rid of.
Because he's a fucking shitty booker, dude. Because he's the best guy.
The best guy is Tony Khan.
Kenny Omega, and that's what he chose to do.
Well, then he should have done the angle with someone he could beat, or with someone that he was willing to let Kenny beat. Or what's the point?
Say this is rock bottom and the worst show ever. Do that, Brian.
The angle. What's the point of the angle when you're not the angle? See, this is the whole stupid thing about all this. The angle is not the money. The money is coming back from the angle. He's doing the angle as the money.
Oh man, Dave, don't start talking. Dave Meltzer, come on down. Don't start fucking talking about the money. Oh, for the money.
And the angle is to set up the money. It's like nobody, it's like you put that angle on TV. The idea is he comes back. He's going for revenge.
That's idea wrestling. Is
just doing angles for the sake of angles. What good is that? That's
what AEW is. Dave's finally catching on 6 years in, the better part of a decade, and he's finally catching.
That's essentially watering down angles and wasting television time and wasting angles, because your angles should be there to benefit your business, not to just thrown out because we need 15 angles on a show that we forget almost all of them.
Holy shit, man. Dave figured it out. He's figured out what everybody's been saying for the last 5 fucking years. He's finally realizing it through his hatred of Andrade El Idolo.
So look, I think that AEW is doing great. Their pay-per-views are through the roof.
There's no proof
And this
of
next
that.
pay-per-view is taking shape, and it's different than anyone probably thought, but it's probably going to be.
No, it's different than you thought. No one thought about Wrestle Dream. It's different than anyone thought Wrestle Dream would be. What the fuck is Wrestle Dream? What does it even mean? What's the theme? Showdown, NXT TNA Showdown. Oh, it's a showdown. WWE Survivor Series War Games. Oh, it's a War Games, right? Bad Blood. Oh, there's probably going to be like a really heated grudge match where, you know, someone, a fucking cage or a Hell in a Cell or some shit. What Wrestle Dream? Oh, it's like a dream in my head and Tony's mind, the best guy.
Great show. They always are. But
They always are. All Out was their least public interest and the worst pay-per-view of the year, in my opinion.
Kenny Omega should be against Kyle Fletcher if he's coming back.
Yeah, he just wants to give them 7 stars and then go, oh, their next match I'll give 7.5, then the one after I'll give 8, the first 8-star match. That's all he's trying to fucking do. He's just trying to prop his guys up. So now here is Brian and Dave Meltzer in our main event of the evening here. Went a little longer than I anticipated for the first one, but that's fine. We had a little, we had Dave and Brian fucking snipping the cord over here. But, NXT is peaking for next Tuesday's head-to-head, while AEW has a show called Title Tuesday. And we have Mercedes Moné against a wrestler from Florida. Now, here's the problem right here. These two chuckle fucks spent the whole time coping and seething over AEW's still great. Andrade sucks, though, but otherwise it's amazing. Everything's through the roof. Everything's amazing. They're beating Raw in the ratings, right, essentially. Now they're worried about, NXT's got this huge stacked up show. Meanwhile, Brian, this is what I mean. He doesn't even believe what he's saying when it comes to NXT TNA, because now they're saying NXT is peaking, but I thought it was rock bottom at the last pay-per-view. And I thought or the PLE for NXT. I thought it was rock bottom, Brian. I thought that this show was so dumb and stupid and nothing makes sense and fucking, I'm mad at it and I got to shut it off. That's the shilling, dude. That's the stooging. And the reason Brian seems fake in those clips is because he's being fake. He's just trying to gaslight sickos, parrot dumb fuck regurgitators who are just going to regurgitate what the fuck he says and parrot what he says. And instead of actually giving this an objective thought, they let this motherfucker think for them. And instead, they're going to then turn around a minute later after burying it and saying it's the rock bottom and it stinks. He's going to then go and say they're peaking and they're promoting the shit. And meanwhile, AEW just kind of threw together a show. So then what the fuck? Like how you're inconsistent with your complaints and your criticisms and shit.
AEW Title Tuesday. And at this point,
No, they haven't done anything for that.
we have one title match, and it is Mercedes versus an unnamed wrestler from Florida.
Which it's going to be Dakota Kai or Elektra Lopez.
Yeah, no, they did not do a good job at.
Oh my God, it's Cyborg Dave, dude. That ain't me. That's Skynet right there.
Yeah, no, they did not do a good job.
I'm glitching out. See, I told you, man. Dave Meltzer isn't even real anymore. He's like a clone. And he's like, remember when Biden was walking weird and they're like, look, dude, he walks like those Elon Musk robots or those robots from China, man. And everybody was fucking, right? It was this conspiracy theory. That's like Dave. He's actually an android. That's why his hair doesn't grow and shit anymore.
At all. They're going in there head to head. They're going to get beat. I mean, they're going to get beat handily. But, it's like when WWE, when WWE on July the 12th, it was like you're going head to head and you put on.
Okay, so what I don't get what he's doing here. So he's just saying now it's like when WWE, they're gonna get beat. AEW is gonna get beat. It's like when WWE got beat that one time head to head with a AEW pay-per-view. What the fuck?
An average to week show. It's the same thing. You're going head to head. You got to put up a fight. And it's like if you watch the NXT show on Tuesday and the AEW show on Wednesday, which show better promoted next Tuesday? I mean, it's not even a fight. It's like
every fucking because it's not a fight, Dave. You have to accept, like, Dave's just coming around though to all of it. It's like not even a fight. Yes, Thank you. Now, with the ratings, the max numbers, say that about Tony's booking and all of that shit. For years now, it's been not even a fight. And now we'll be lucky if they're on TV in 2027, at least in the way we view it now. And it's because you, two chuckle fucks, you shilled and said it was a fight and said it was comparable to Raw's ratings and said the best guys, Tony Khan, the greatest booker of all
The best
time.
guys, Tony Khan.
Who else but Tony Khan?
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
It's because you did all of that shit that they're going to get beat, and all these mentally ill weirdos on Reddit and the YouTube comments and fucking underneath in your observer message board and the cage match ratings are going to say otherwise.
It's just what it was. WWE, the NXT show, so much better promoted next Tuesday.
All of everything WWE does is better promoted. And even if AEW promoted the shit and spent every waking dying minute promoting this show, it wouldn't matter. And this is the criticism for every AEW pay-per-view. They don't promote them correctly. They don't spend the TV time correctly.
I mean, it looks like a more exciting lineup. They had all kinds of direct interview. Everything was building towards Tuesday. They're peaking for this thing. And AEW has a show called Title Tuesday, and we have Mercedes Moné against a wrestler from Florida, what does that mean? I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means. It means nothing to me.
And Dave's going to boo-boo on that because it's going to be an ex-WWE superstar, if I had to guess, because that's all really Tony Khan's got going for him. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Dave Meltzer's Dumb Moment of the Week.